Alright, my dudes, welcome to the Wizard of Oz breakdown. Before I would begin, I would just like to say that I am trying to make this as quick as possible. I am, in general, just winging it. I want people to know that there is a lot to this movie, but I'm trying not to overcomplicate it. But before we begin, I do have to go over the table of contents of what I will be using as a generic reference. So the first generic reference would be the Masonic table of the Yakin Boaz pillars, the sun, the moon, the blazing star over the pillar of mercy's verity upon the chessboard. Okay, we already know this. Okay, standard pillar, but though this is not necessary, it is still the same accesses. Though I prefer the picture before, but that just has the eye of illumination. This is the unfolded Tetractys of the whole Sephirotic tree, which is the Kabbalistic tree, though I don't believe I will be using this picture. This is the unfoldment of the Yod into the Malkuth, the Tree of Life, the Sephirotic tree. This is standard. It's obviously important. So, in general, Wizard of Oz is, in general, I would say, a movie that is based on the esoteric, occultism, Egyptian, the tarot, Kabbalism, a multitude of things. Here we have a picture of Jabulon, who is the Appalachian term for the devil, so saith Albert Pike. It is very important. So this figure is basically a representation of the Wizard of Oz. Jabulon means I am the Lord of Power. So I am the Lord of Existence. That would be in its relationship axis to that of the Jupiterian king, which is the Wizard of Oz, though that itself is an appellation. Okay, we have the the Bhava Chakra, which is upon the zodiac wheel of that of the Kamamara, another reference to the Wizard of Oz. The 4 points of the feet holding upon the fixed stars, the wheel that spins, and the tetragrammatron of the crown of the Kamamara, which is necessary for the judgment aspect. Okay. I'm assuming everybody knows what this is. This is the Yetha Zeta of the Tetragrammatron, the quote-unquote name of the supreme architect of the universe, a recombinant accessing of the harmony between the lunar pillar, the solar pillar, and the black sun, or the blazing star. So, okay, I'm trying to think as well. What else? Obviously, a zodiacal wheel. This story is a transition of the zodiacal wheel anyways, as I will demonstrate later. Okay. And a tarot deck. Obviously, Dorothy is the fool on her journey, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. This is in its proper context, not in though the order is wrong, justice and strength should be switched, which will be addressed later, just because there is a scene where Dorothy is exemplifying the strength card with the lion. Okay, and let's see. And obviously the standard chakra chart, symbolizing that of the Earth star, which would be Malkuth rising above, the whole somewhere over the rainbow skies are blue upon a stellar gateway, which is towards the end of the movie. So, okay. This is just the standard table context. This breakdown will have multiple parts, and I may be referring to all or any of these parts. Okay, so I'll be right back with the start of the show. Alright, my dudes, before we begin, I would like to clarify that this movie will be broken down into 12 parts on the general basis of 3-part structure. So in the beginning would be the scene before Dorothy falls into the descent of the material illusionary place known as Oz, or you would call Malkuth, which would be the recombinant from Keter down to the place of Wonderland, which I call Disney Realm Clown Show, whatever. The middle part is the journey, like the hero's journey. This is the hero's journey of Dorothy upon her quest for enlightenment. I would say that the only movie or general tale that compares to this would be the old Vedic hymns of Krishna. It's either Ramayana, Mahabharata, or most commonly colloquially known would be that of the story of the journey to the West, which is a ancient Chinese mythology, where you basically have the monk on his path of journey of the enlightenment to the West to become an enlightened Buddha with his 3 companions. I mean, this goes back to old Vedic tales anyways, which would be the monkey king, Sun Wukong, which would be the lion. You have the Pigsy. Let's see, who would Pigsy be? Pigsy, he's ignorant, so should be the Scarecrow, and then that demon thing, which would be the Tin Man, for he needs a heart for his hatred. So these are the three aspects which it is most relevant to. So in this story has always existed. So that's why to me it's not that hard to understand, because I'm an Easterner. So for me, my reference to this would be Journey to the West rather than The Wizard of Oz. I have called The Wizard of Oz the white man's Journey to the West multiple times. And then the final part will be the after she has completed the quest for the Holy Grail, the completion of the hero's journey, where she quote unquote returns back home or goes to heaven. So, okay, I'm just clarifying that, and we will begin with the first section. So I'll be right back. Okay, yeah, we'll start off with the first section. So we're just going to jump in and out when it is necessary. So the opening is obviously with the logo, which is MGM. Symbolically, it is the same upon that of what you would see as the square and compass. Hold on, it's not square and compass. Which would be that of the square and compass. The G being not as symbol of God, which is what the line would, people would miscategorize it. It is symbolized as the number 7, as in the 4, which is the square, to that upon the 3, the feminine axis, the triangle equaling to that of G, the 5th science for geometry. Its veneration of the Uraeus upon that of the line is always that of point of the line, because the line's paw of the line lifts up as it's an elevation point of Virgo, as it lifts up Sirius to its highest elevation when the sun would be in Capricorn, and then Sirius would be in Cancer, if people care. The MM, obviously that of the Master Mason, or that's why if you ever see MM or initials MM, you should always be aware what you're being told by not being told. And also as of the lowercase m is that of the double yods in Kabbalism. So, okay, so we're just going to jump around, but that's just the opening. So, the line is a symbol of the presence, courage, strength, which is very important. And that's why there's the whole thing about the Lion of Judah. Okay, the opening starts off. The Wizard of Oz, that is the exoteric name. The wizard is also known as the Master of Oz. Oz is another term. Another term for Oz would be Boaz. So Boaz would be upon the pillars here. So the pillar Yakin and Boaz. So Yakin would be the solar axis, the sun. Boaz, the feminine axis of the moon, is here. You also see it upon the you see it upon the story here, upon that of, I mean, a lot of these characters are reflections upon these cards. For example, like literally the Wizard of Oz, the Magician is very important. So Boaz is here. It is the pillar of severity. The descent into Oz, the material plane Malkuth, Negrito, upon the alchemical journey. For Albedo, Negrito, the journey of suffering, a necessity, upon that of the resurrection of Megiddo. So that is the whole point. So the Wizard of Oz could be also known, so the esoteric name of this would be the Master Boaz, which is basically, Dorothy's journey is really the this feminine goddess journey that people hear a lot about. You can also relate this to Inanna, Ishtar, Izanami, whatever, the journey down to the descent of the dead. So, I mean, that's what this would be. So, yeah, that's why there's the wizard, the master. If you have the cards of if you put upon this polarity here, the king would be the sun, the moon would be the queen, and the wizard would be the blazing star, or Sirius. Okay, so. Okay. And these openings always start off the same way. This type of movie, you see it, like here. The singing of heaven. It is because as above, so below. You see this in every high-level movie, alright? It is the as above from Ketart, unfolding, reflecting upon that of Malkuth, rising back up to climb the descent fall to that of the material plane or the underworld, whatever, and to be resurrected upon the second death, which is life, and go through back into heaven or Kansas. So you also see upon this picture. So going down the blazing star here, descent on the ladder, And then, you know, this would be like Glenda, which is the Virgin Mary with the baby Jesus. Okay, and then you see Dorothy here, and then you see the Wicked Witch of the West, and then this is Jacob's ladder. Upon that of the trestle board, moving back up. So, okay. But I mean, a lot of movies do this, by the way. If you haven't noticed, there's the movie Dark City, starts out the same way. Cloudy heavens. So she needs to clarify her clouds and, you know, open up the ray light of the true son of Qatar. A lot of this story is actually basically the story of the fool's journey. The need for the individuation of the unindividuated soul to have a quote-unquote experience and earn the mantlehood of immortality through works, which would be towards the end of the Book of Revelations. So, okay, but I am going to jump it around a bit. Okay, let's see. Okay. In the beginning, there was, you know, the light, then out of the darkness, blah, blah, blah. Okay, this was when basically Qatar, it's a Hakma, it's a Bina. Okay, everyone knows that. Okay, starts off with Dorothy. She's running down the road, the middle road. She is in distress. If you notice, this place is vacant. It is dead. It is a reflection of America during the Grapes of Wrath period, which would be the Dust Bowl of America. This is back when everyone was starving. So, like, the land is desolate, which is important because she's going to be transported to a land of wonder, which is the quote unquote whatever you call this place is. Okay, I'm gonna skip that.
Toto, did she hurt you? She tried to, didn't she? Come on, we'll go tell Uncle Henry and Auntie Em.
Okay, so basically Toto is basically her child or her true higher self, her familiar. In the Greek, we call it the daemon, whatever. But this is a real self. Obviously, the dog in Dorothy is a symbol of, if you are not aware, let's see. The symbol of the dog being the dog star, is Sirius. So Dorothy is the child, and she is going to fall into the descent of, through, you know, incarnation, whatever, through the waters having from Qatar down into Malkuth, the waters down. But that's if you want to review it from the Kabbalistic point of view. There's a different way to review the tarot, and I don't prescribe that. Kabbalism is the best way to describe this. It's better to look upon this as the threefold path of the seven, or the threefold path of the initiate, the adept, the master, which is why it's very important for an understanding of the entered apprentice, the fellow craft, and the master mason. So, okay, so she's on her journey. You're going to see a tree of death. This is very important. And every important movie, you see a dead tree, symbolizing, you know, the tree of Qliphoth, or the infertility of the scenario that you're in. So she's on her journey to individuate and attain enlightenment. By clarifying her neuroses in the beginning, these chickens, these farm animals, is basically going to be the profane people that she's going to see later upon the, you know, the Lollipop Guild, whatever, symbolized through that of the Ashlar Stone, which would be the unperfected Ashlar Stone here. And she's basically trying to, she starts off as this stone, which is a unshapen molten stone that has to be gavelled into the cube of perfection and lifted up through Jacob's ladder. So, okay, and now she's actually going to Aunt Anne and Uncle Henry, but they are impotent, and they're also not her parents. So she's actually referring to them as aunt and uncle because they're not her parents. This is to basically symbolize that, you know, her parents aren't her real parents, because her spiritual parents are in quote unquote heaven. That's why they didn't give her her parents here. So, and Uncle Henry is impotent, for he's not her father, symbolizing that he is actually not God. Aunt Em would be like more like the Yod factor, but she is her motherly aspect that is also impotent here. Okay, Toto is also another important thing too. In Toto, the totality is basically just a reference to her higher self, or soul, or in like Severance, her any. Thereafter, the chicks, because like this is just referring to something later down the road.
bother us now, honey. This old incubator's gone bad.
And she's upset because the Wicked Witch of the West, the Lady Gauche, whatever, she raked Toto over because Toto is playing in her garden. He, the dog, is Anubis. So if we project the Anubis figure upon that of the zodiacal wheel, Anubis would be on top and Set would be at the bottom, or the cat, for that is a symbol, the black cat for darkness. That's why in modern contextual superstition, black cats are a symbol of bad luck, for they are a symbol of the Lord of Darkness. Like, come on, dude, everyone's afraid of spiders. Black cats are bad luck. Witches have frogs. I mean, come on, dude, that's why this symbol exists. Okay. I mean, that's like a super symbol of Set, or the Appalachian term for the Lord of Darkness, or the devil.
Dorothy, please.
Okay, yeah, they don't care, but also because you have to remember, she said that Toto was struck upon the back with a rake in the garden. So obviously Toto is the snake in the Garden of Eden. That, whatever, Tree of Good and Evil that basically gave her conscious awareness. And now she has to go through the descent into material incarnation because she's being naughty, whatever. And that's actually a necessary point for the individuation. If not, you would be the same as an animal. Whatever. So.
Twice a week, and he can't catch your old cat anyway.
He can't catch your old cat, for it is in the, infinite Ouroboros spiral. Like Anubis chases Set. And if Set... Okay, hold on. Gotta put this on. This is actually very important. Okay. If Anubis is on top, we are in the Golden Age. Yay! But the Golden Age will decline, and Set will rise evil. So that's why there's a never-ending rotation of the wheel. So... like in Buddhism, you would quote-unquote want to escape the wheel of Dharma, which is the wheel of necessity, the wheel of suffering, Le Roue de Fortune, the 10th card in the tarot, because it is a necessary aspect form for your individuation and enlightenment of your experience here. For you shed upon the garment of your body through this illusionary process that you call existence. Okay.
And now she says she's going to get the sheriff.
Okay. She's gonna get the sheriff. I mean, this is in Masonry because they always view religion and state as two peas in a pot. All right, the religious aspect, which is symbolized through the woman, females. I mean, every religion is always associated with women. So, in the tarot cards, the king is associated with the state. The queen is associated with religion. This one, what was the other one? The pages and knights, whatever, associated with like traders and whatever. But basically, this is basically just saying that she is a Karen, and she's gonna have Toto, her soul, destroyed for being naughty. So I mean, this is a bit, Garden of Eden-y. So okay, I'm gonna go for it.
Think you didn't have any brains about Miss Gulch? Think you didn't have about Miss Gulch? Now look at that.
Okay, then this is actually Dorothy because she is not being responsible. So I would always say that what you do on earth reflects upon you in heaven, or what you do now reflects into eternity. This is very true. Like there's always an argument, is it grace or is it works? It's both. All right, you need faith to carry you forward, which is the symbol of the lion. So yeah, okay. I mean, that's why the lion's very important. Like the lion, faith is what rises the soul up, not logic or intuition, which would be the two pillars. But faith, the middle pillar of harmony, and spirituality.
Think you didn't have any brains at all?
Okay, so now she's consulting. These are the real life aspects of the people that she's going to deal with, which would be the Scarecrow, the Tin Man, and the lion.
I have so got brains.
Well, why don't you use them?
When yeah, why doesn't she use her brains?
Come home, don't go by Miss Gulch's place.
Yeah.
Then Toto won't get in her garden, and you won't get in no trouble, see?
Yeah, see? He's making a good point. So she's going to go through this journey because she was not addressing her problems in the correct path. She wasn't using her brains, she wasn't using her heart, and she wasn't using courage. She wasn't brave enough to deal with the problems. And it's going to reflect upon her in her journey of the dead, which is going to be when the tornado happens. So we're going to skip a little bit. Okay, wait, I went too far. Okay, wait, sorry.
You come home, don't go.
Somewhere over the rainbow. Okay, to reach the rainbow, going over the rainbow, is to climb up the color wheel to get back to Keter, or heaven, or if you look it upon the Vedic system, to go through the chakra gates of the wheels, to go through the stellar gateway, to go back home, which is the attainment of becoming the enlightened Buddha, or if you want to look at it from the Western point of view, Kabbalism, the Adam Kadmon. For Jesus Christ is the Adam Kadmon, and so is Hiram Abiff, okay, which would be the savior figure for like the dreaming, sleep, cousin of death, same thing. This is a very Egyptian or ancient thing where they actually view dying or the life after life as the true life, and that is the second death. But if you don't complete the journey of the wizard of the game of Dharma or whatever upon the road of Oz, then you basically come back here. The people care, because to fall back to the abyss. I mean, this is why the Jews and Kabbalists, they don't believe in hell, because they view this whole place as the extrapolation of it itself. So this would be Malkuth, or hell, abyss, earth plane. It is a perfect balance between the pillar of good and the pillar of evil. For you, how can one know good if there's no evil? How can one experience evil if there's no good? The perfect Chinese finger trap, which is necessary for your enlightenment. I mean, this is why in the Tibetan Book of the Dead, if you ever read the Vajrayana Buddhists, they always say that this place is dualistic in nature, the perfect balance of yin and yang. All right, for every action there's an opposite and equal reaction, causality. So, which is also reflected upon here, this sign right here of causality, which is a major feature of the game. It is also always reflected upon that of the trestle board, black and white. Like you see this everywhere. Trestle board, okay. Somewhere over the rainbow, skies are blue. Okay, we all know the song. Okay. The light below is a reflection on the true light. For the shining of the light, which is a reflection of the sun, the golden sun, reflection of that of Sirius would always be that of the Argus Agentium. The silver star, or if you put upon the gold axis, is the light, which is sapphire blue. This is in the Tibetan Book of the Dead and the Morals and Dogma. So if you wanna go more in deep, I would just suggest to read the first degree of Morals and Dogma, which is the first chapter. So that is what going over the rainbow is about. For it to go over the rainbow is to climb upon the spiraling rainbow ladder of Jacob's ladder to get into heaven. That's what that song's about. And she says, where whatever melts like lemon drops and bluebirds fly. Okay, there's like masonry. Okay, masons have there's we all know the three colors, all right? There's red, there's red, blue, and yellow. All right. Why do you never associate it with red? Because red is associated with the barbarism of the animal place, which is the aspect of Malkuth. That is a symbol of the devil, always has been, and blood. Blue, intellectual aspect, which is what is necessary to climb up upon through the white, red, white, and blue. The gold is an aspect ray of the sun, for it is a shining reflection upon here, for the moon is reflection of the sun. The sun is a reflection upon Sirius, which is the black sun, and which is what you would get through the Tetragrammatron. Okay. Where whatever melts like lemon drops is yellow or gold. It is the melting of Christos, which is the secretion of, DMT of the pineal gland. For the pineal gland is the gate access point of that of the blazing star, your gateway access to that of the spiritual or astral world, which is symbolized through the picture here. So that is why in all these symbols you see the eye. So like though you can invert this because there's crisscrossing the brain. Like I always prefer the sun on the right and the moon on the left for the handing path, so it's easier. But basically the eyes, right eye, left eye, the middle eye, which is Sirius, symbolized through the reflection upon the body of man, through the occult anatomy of man, or whatever, is the pineal gland, the pine cone, which is green in its infantile state. Okay. So, because I can't play the song fully because of copyright. Okay, and just so you know, they show a wheel a lot. You see the wheel? every time they show the wheel, because it's going to get reflected upon the end of the movie anyways, is going to always be a reflection wheel of the zodiacal wheel. And the position that she always holds upon that is actually going to be that of Aquarius, where her hands tie. Okay, she basically opens up the doorway, and the hand of destiny, that is her will, guides her into the start of her journey, which is the journey through Oz. So we will be back with the start of the second part, which is, I mean, dude, this is going to be long. It's like 12 parts here. So, all right. Okay, we'll be right back. All right, my dudes, we're going to start with the second part, but I will have to lightning round the second part just because there are 12 parts. So I actually got to do this fast because the previous part was a bit too long, and I don't want to make this video like 6-7 hours. So we'll start right away. Okay, she enters. This is the start of the journey of the dead, or Malkuth, whatever, which is a reflection upon the journey of life, the game of Dharma, which you play upon here, which is why it's symbolized through the rainbow or the color wheel here, or dictations by that of the zodiac. It's green, it's luscious, it's bright, it's intoxicating for the senses, which is why in Buddhism they basically have you control your mind through the cessation of the senses through asceticism via meditation. That's basically what it is. That's why she sees green first, like emerald. Green is the number one color upon this world. It is upon a color wheel, if you actually get a color wheel, the spectrum of green is in the middle, which is the commonality of color in this plane of reality, which you know as quote unquote Earth or Oz, whatever. And Oz is obviously, since I said it's Boaz, it's also a reference to Gaia, Mother Earth. So that's why the father, this is why in religion, like especially in Christianity, fathers to heaven, mothers to earth. So you're supposed to venerate the father, related back to the fertile ground where the seed of, seed of sperm, whatever is planted, upon the tree of the mother, which is the fertility of the womb of the earth plane, whatever, and grow your tree and, get your fruit of heaven. So that's basically Kabbalism. Okay, dude, I gotta hurry this up though. So, okay, so she's based out of farm, town, whatever. She encounters Glenda, the Good Witch. So, from the tarot card, we're basically going to see a couple of characters. So we already know that Dorothy is upon a fool's journey. She's going to be on just so you know, the Wizard of Oz. I mean, you would think that she's on a search for the Wizard of Oz, who is the charlatan, Professor Marvel. But it is Dorothy, who is the true magician, the Wizard of Oz, once she completes her journey, right, and takes on that mantle. So, okay, that's why you're going to see basically Glenda the Good Witch as so the Fool's journey through the Wizard is basically Dorothy's start of the journey. Glenda the Good Witch will be the High Priestess and the Empress card. That's why you'll see Professor Marvel as the Jupiterian Sun King of the Emperor, whatever, and that of the Pope. So, because he is a spiritual representation of the Emerald City of Oz, which is also a reference to the Emerald Tablets and also like Egyptian stuff, but that's a bit later. And the Wicked Witch of the West would actually be seen as the shadow of the moon and that of death. So, but we can get that later. Okay, so Glenda the Good Witch appears as a spherical ball of light, a formless light being. All right. Once you're liberated from life, you're liberated from form, and that is where you go through the dispersion of the quote-unquote rainbow and enter a spiritual body. For you shed the body of you as the garment of the soul, which the soul wears a suit, and then you quote-unquote do whatever, become a formless angelic light being, if that is your goal or destiny, whatever. Okay, that's why she descends from heaven, for she is a magenta figure. In Rosicrucianism, this is basically the color spectrum of the rose, the pink, the magenta, which is ultraviolet, whatever, which sits beyond the spectrum that descends upon into that of the Malkuth plane. Okay. And she's also a sphere because in Masonry, there's a rule of the square and compass. Those upon the 2D plane of Earth plane, Malkuth, whatever, you would use the square. This is to describe the type of people. Upon the aspect of that of the compass or the spherical circle, descriptions of geometry, you would use the compass. So anyone who's even initiated or a master, whatever, would be considered someone who's not profane in that of the compass. And you want to aspire through the G of the whatever to pass through the pillars and then, you know, enter into Kepha or whatever. So that's like return to source. That's why she's a fairy godmother. Glenda the Good Witch is a representation of variety of things, and an allusion to Auntie M and to that of the heavenly angelic aspects. Okay. And that is why, also, you have to remember that this was the first movie that went from black and white to color, or became popularized, and it's also the #1 seen movie ever throughout, like, humanity. That's why this movie's very important. So, it is basically the soft enlightenment of man, if you watch this movie. This movie I watched more than any other movie in my life, just because the Tin Man came from my city, so we had to watch this all the time, and it was always playing when I was a kid. Like this movie and The Neverending Story, I watched like more than any other movies.
I know we're not in Kansas.
I know we're not in Kansas. Kansas is also symbolized as the heart. One goes through the heart always as the start access point of the journey. For example, a baby, the first thing that's born is the heart. All right, that's literally the first thing that's pumped out, because that is what is necessary for life. So upon even the chocolate wheel, the center is the heart. She needs to go to the heart of the Emerald City, whatever the land of Oz is, the heart here. In Egyptian funerary rites, you would find a lot of mummies buried where the heart is, an emerald scarab, the scarab being a symbol of that of cancer. So for the, for the descent fall into the material plane through the resurrection. So you enter the apprentice of the Masonic degree, of the first degree of the Blue Lodge. It is a symbol of, Jesus' birthday. December 25th, which would be Virgo, over where Capricorn would be, is December 25th, which is where Sirius is open here, descent fall here. So that's why baby Jesus is born 25th. And then you have the journey of the sun, which is reflected upon the allegory of Jesus anyways. So it's also a reflected allegory in the Buddhist traditions also, because the Buddha, a white elephant, Keter, Kepha, the crown, descends through here, through the Immaculate Conception. All right, that's what this really is. Because an Immaculate Conception is an allegory, obviously, for the birth of the soul. So
Up your mind.
he's not doing it on purpose. He's just dumb.
That's the trouble. I can't make up my mind.
Yeah.
I haven't got a brain.
Yeah.
Only straw.
How can you talk if you haven't got a brain?
Okay, when they refer to straw, it's also your head being filled with useless information or useless facts, or things which is detrimental to your spiritual journey. That's why he's a scarecrow full of straw, or full of shit in the modern context.
I don't know.
I don't know.
But some people without brains do an awful lot of talking.
Some people without brains do an awful lot of talking, yes. People who talk more or talk in circles, or like they probably usually don't know what they're talking about. That's why there's a saying, if you cannot explain it simply, then you don't know what you're talking about. And I try to do both, because I understand there's necessary reasoning for complexity of explaining through speech and thought via vernacular vocabulary, but I always try to dumb down my language as little as possible. But these three people that she's meeting, it's also the allegorical story of them. The story of the legend of Hiram Abiff, which would be like the savior figure in Kabbalism. So he was basically, there's like the three kings. There's Hiram, king of Tyre, King Solomon, which everybody knows, and Hiram Abiff. So these are also the pillars of right here. So let's see, King Tyre would be the sun, Solomon, beauty, or whatever. Those don't really matter. But wisdom, the architect, is Hiram Abiff, the most venerated above. But these are just allegorical appellations anyways. So you would see upon that of Capricorn as the architect, the masculine axis, which would be Aries, okay, and then beauty aspect would be the balancing that of Libra. Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Don't they?
Because it also upon the wheel, you don't get into the intellectual aspects of your development of the soul until you reach that point of Virgo anyways. So like the beginning would be like the animal, then the man, and then you die as the old man into that of the quote-unquote astral baby, whatever.
Yes, I guess you're right.
Hmm.
Well,
Okay, and Hiram Biff, basically, I mean, this is also in the First Amendment in the Bill of Rights for Americans. So upon the Constitution, the First Amendment is actually a reference to Hiram Biff because he was killed by 3 assassins, which is also in the first 3 degrees of the Blue Lodge of Masonry. So he was struck upon the throat. So, okay, what is the First Amendment? You have the freedom of speech, freedom of religion, and freedom of expression or thought. So this guy, he can't speak, whatever. Okay, that's why, like, you're going to see this illustrated with the other 3s that I'm going to talk about. But that's very important. So you need freedom of speech, then you need freedom of religion. Religion is the heart, which is the Tin Man. And then freedom of thought or expression, which would be why the lion is going to be later. But
I could show my prowess.
okay, so he needs courage. So basically, he needs the pineal gland activated, because if you have the pineal gland activated, you get courage. I mean, that is the source of wisdom and courage. The pineal gland. Okay, you need the heart, which is the middle axis point, and you also need the brain. But this can also be symbolized as courage being cojones or balls, really. So it's a natural aspect upon that of the body. So the parts of the body would be, which is also in if you study occult anatomy, man, you're going to realize that the aspects of the central nervous parts is going to be like the 2 heads, which is the brain, the balls through the navel, the stomach, which came in through birth, the soul, through the heart. And that's why these axis points is merely the reconstruction of, I mean, come on, dude, it's like the construction of the temple that's built without tools, like if you read the Masonic Bible.
Be a lion, not a mouse, if I only had the nerve.
Okay, so they're off. Okay, so I hope people understand everything I've said, and we got to move on to the next part. So, all right, I'll be right back. All right, my dude, we're going to move on to the next part, which is basically her going to the Emerald City section. So at the point of the story which we're at, so we just know that we're at the point of the entrance of Regulus, where Virgo struck Regulus. Is like in Masonry, the sign, the lion's paw, whatever, you know, it's the hand sign over the heart, whatever, like the Pledge of Allegiance, but your fist closed. But basically, at the story part where we're at, we would be on the Fool's Journey of Strength. Let's see. But the problem is that strength and justice are reversed here. So that's Eliphas Levi's fault. Like, just so you know, the tarot is not correct. Especially, like, a lot of people, they just can't figure it out. Okay, let's see. Chariot, okay. So that's the witch, whatever. Or the lovers. Well, that's a little bit, but... Okay, where are we? Strength. Yeah, so we're at strength. So you see Dorothy here. She has... tame the lion. That's why she struck him in the head. But there's also another card where she should be opening the jaws of the lion, because that is her symbolic courage of going upon the journey to face the witch. So she's already collected all of her people, but the lion card should be switched with that of the 11th card, which is justice. So just to balance out the wheel, but that's not necessarily necessary to talk about. And the witch also represents, among other things, the Hanged Man. But I don't think I need to talk about that right now. So, okay. Okay, the witch and the flying monkeys. Flying monkeys representing that of her cat. But the witch herself, she's green. Green is a color of death for a reason, right? You see like a lot of green symbolism, like World of Warcraft or whatever. That's why Oz is green. Green is a symbol of that of, you know, Gaia, the Earth star. For life and death is a reflection of each other. So the Earth star is green, and that is why green is death. Like, you know, poison color is green, whatever, and life. So that's what it means. That's why she's black and green. So, which you would see upon the picture of Jabulon. For example, the cat, which is Gosh, and the green, the frog degenerate form. This is like the Wicked Witch of the West, and then the front person is actually the Professor Marvel, the Wizard of Oz. Okay, that's why she has machinations, where she does her schemings like a little spider. Okay, and she has like a red hourglass, whatever. And see, hourglass is also a symbol of time. Okay, and she actually had courage because she actually did something. Okay, that's why there's 2 lights, for she is Dude, that's why the lights are here. I mean, come on, dude. Didn't people think? I mean, these placements are actually all correct. All right, the lights here, and Dorothy is the middle pillar of a harmony and wisdom for the pouring of the water of heaven to basically purge out the body of the material plane. And then that's why she's going to rise back up. That's why she's in the middle here. So, yeah. Okay, the Wicked Witch is dead. Yay. And so there's a puddle on the ground, which is also, it's also symbolized through, what is it, Typhon, or the going back to the earth upon death anyways. That's the material body that goes back in. So that's what the witch represents. So, okay, so we're going to move on to the next part, because I actually just wanted to get to the end part, because that part was actually not that big of a deal. It's just a lot of people didn't understand the symbolism with the witch dying. So, alright, so we're going to start towards the end of the journey. Alright, we'll be right back. Alright, we're back, so we're almost done with the story, actually. We just need to, so let's see, Shari defeated Capricorn, Shari finished out Scorpio, so we're getting to towards the end stage. She just has to go through the Sagittarius aspect and enter Capricorn for the gifting stage. So, and if we're looking at the chart, we should be entering to that of the devil. So she has to face the quote-unquote Wizard of Oz, and I'm going to go through these cards. But I'm actually just glossing over these cards because I don't want it to take too much time.
I believe my eyes. Why have you come back?
Yeah, you know what's hilarious though? Really think about it. That's why he's such a false god. He's the devil. He sent a little girl to go on a suicide mission against like some crazy witch. Like, what the hell?
Please, sir. We've done what you told us. We brought you the broomstick of the...
Yeah, she brought the broomstick. So that's like the symbol of the chariot that she needed.
Wicked Witch of the West. We melted her.
Yeah, so she's conquered Saturn. No, that's why she actually puts the broomstick at her feet. Alright, just like you see like these old symbols of like these goddess statues. It's always like Inanna, Ishtar, whatever, Isis, but they basically have the crescent moon upon their feet, upon the stars. That's why she has a broomstick. That's like the pathway of the conquering of the feminine axis is already happened because she defeated the witch. So now she just has to conquer the... So I'll show you right here again. So she has conquered the Wicked Witch of the West. She has faced the dark side of the moon. Because in the moon axis, you're always going to have the threefold path initiate of the woman. So you're always going to have the Virgin, which is Dorothy, the Maiden, which is Glenda, the Crone, which is the Wicked Witch of the West. For the solar axis, you're always going to have the young man, it's the young man, it was like the boy, the young man, and the old man, whatever. And then that's what you need to conquer to get to the throne of Kingdom of Heaven. So she has already defeated the Wicked Witch of the West, so she's at the point of... Well, she has to defeat the Oz character to get into this point right here. But we're going to get to that soon. So.
THD.
Okay, and just so you know, the honorary degree of Masonry is the 33rd degree, which is due to that ritual where you basically, God, what do? You drink? Do you drink from some cup, or is it... whatever, you drink from a cup of Socrates. It's the cup symbolizing hemlock, symbolizing that, knowledge gives death upon that of the profane, which is why the state and religion basically did extrajudicial murder against him because he was corrupting the youth or whatever, which is why you basically drink from a cup of Socrates, some hemlock, and then some dude comes at you from behind with a dressed like a skeleton, gives you a hug, giving you the whispers of Socrates, symbolizing that wisdom is what lifts you up from the dead. Okay. Because in Masonry, the whole point of Masonry is for the atom can bond, whatever, is basically turning the sleeping atom, the potentiality of man, through its NPC nature, so that the potentiality of everything, with the enlightenment of Socrates, to become a Marcus Aurelius. That's literally what Masons believe. So, I mean, it's pretty much, yeah, that's it.
PhD? Doctor of Thinkology.
You got a degree of Doctor of Thinkology, so we know that the Mercury aspect... Okay, well, I'm going to explain at the end, but I gotta explain this part. Like, come on, dude. Didn't anybody think this was weird?
Sum of the square roots of
The sum of the square
any
root,
sides of
blah,
an
blah,
isosceles triangle is equal to the square root of the remaining side.
The sum of the square root, blah, 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 the size notes. Okay, this would be the 47th Euclidean mystery, which is symbolic that of the isosceles triangle upon that of the right angle degree. Which is, you know, these parts of the, look, G is for geometry. Alright, so we look at this symbol right here for the G. It's basically saying the right degree, which look, this is a bit too long to explain, but there's an isosceles triangle of a right angle degree, 3 and 4, so 3 squared is 9, 4 squared is 16, which equals 25. 25 square root of 25 is 5, so this is the 3, 4, 5 mystery, which symbolizes that of the G. So the 4 is the 4 aspect part of that of the square in masonry, which is symbolized through that of the fixed stars of, you know, the bull, the man, the eagle, and the lion. So that would be the fixed stars. Upon that will be the equilateral triangle, symbolizing that of the pillars of severity and mercy, which would be, you know, Yakin Boaz. Mercy, severity, symbolizing the middle of harmony, wisdom, which points up to the light of the uncapped pyramid of that of G, which is why G is the 5th science of the number 7, symbolizing the square upon the triangle, which is also symbolized of that of the Temple of Harnakenassus. This is basic masonry. So that whole sign thingy basically leads into that of the enlightenment of Mercury upon the axis. Here I pointed out the duat. So that's why, you know, Mercury is rewarded first. And just so you know, Jesus and Buddha, the mercurial figures. Every savior figure is a mercurial figure. Including Enki, Thoth, who else? Hermes Trismegistus. Come on, dude. It's Mercury.
Oh, joy! Rapture!
Oh, joy, I got a
Got a
brain.
brain!
Yeah, because you have to remember. So we're going to look at the alchemical transmutation of the Philosopher's Stone. So you have Dorothy, she's silver. Through the red stone, it's transition to the sun, which is actually the Philosopher's Stone itself at the journey. You have Mercury, which is Scarecrow. You have Tin, Jupiter, whatever is the man through the double axis of the Saturn or lead aspect of, you know, the wizard, whatever. And he's obviously gold for the line. So Kansas is just like Dorothy. He came from Qatar, heaven, spiritual heaven, whatever.
Balloonist par excellence for the miracle wonder.
That's why she views. He's basically also. You have to remember that he is also the Osiris figure. That is why he's represented through the green, but he's as the lower Osiris figure. So, like later, he's gonna be the aspect later when he shows up at the end. So this is like the threefold path of God. There's the fake fronting force, which is like Satan, the adversary. Then there's the force as the representation as the intercessory. Then there's the God that is through the gateway window of the abyss, Duat, which is the everything or the source. So.
Land Carnival Company until
Okay,
one day,
Carnival.
while
Yeah,
performing
dude. I told you that this world is a clown show carnival.
spectacular feats.
I gotta get to the
of
hot air balloon scene. Yay!
And in that balloon, my dear Dorothy, you
And the balloon, that's why she wants to rise up to heaven. She needs to go up the ladder into Qatar, whatever. She needs to try and think, okay, so she's already purified, so she just needs to cross this line right here to get into heaven. So apparently she's gonna take the hot air balloon, but we're gonna see what's gonna happen. Okay.
You and I will return to the land of E pluribus unum. And now,
Okay, when he says we're gonna return to the land of E pluribus unum, that is the motto of America, which means out of many, one. Okay? For example, I mean, this is basically the story of Kabbalism. Yod, Hid, Vid, Had. One, many, blah, 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 beauty, one, black, whatever. It's basically, quote unquote, God breaking himself into infinite pieces. And you gotta collect all, you know, all 10 Pokeball, all 10 Dragon Balls, whatever, to go back into heaven, whatever. Or that's what the story of repiecing the pieces of Osiris back together is, anyways. Same thing. So, like, out of many, one. So it's like as above, so below, as below, so above. But you have to always remember that it is heaven that always supersedes the material lower plane. That's why the Father is always above the Mother, but the Mother is a necessary fertile ground for the necessary enlightenment to rise back up. That's why it's considered the Albedo descent down into Negredo for the purification of the white powder of, or the, the alchemical whatever through the quicksilver and the red back into heaven for the transmutation of lead into gold. That's literally the alchemical journey of the soul, or the building of the temple without the tools. So, because that's an allegory. Okay, we gotta get to the very end. Yeah, dude, I'm trying to wrap this up. Okay, that's what the hot air balloon is. Is it pink? It's gotta be pink, right? Pink or gold, doesn't really matter. It's one of the colors. Okay, so this is basically the, trying to think, so we're literally at the point of Capricorn, so we're at the point into the Aquarius part, so, and then it's going to be obviously going to break down into Pisces at the disillusionment phase through the window. I mean later, but that we'll see it when it happens. Okay, which means that she's been reborn, resurrected into the kingdom of heaven, whatever, the new heaven.
Anybody home? I just dropped.
And it's symbolized through the window. The window, I mean, look, because remember, I mean, you have to remember that this is obviously not her original life, because her house was destroyed, all right? It'd be like a mess. This is basically heaven, which is why the Professor Marvel comes in like he is the god figure which she looks up to. He's basically Osiris. And the weather has cleared, because remember at the beginning of the movie, the weather is cloudy and stormy, and the cloudy and storminess is a representation of how she feels in life, because now she's in heaven and the skies have cleared. And that's why the quote-unquote real Osiris, real Wizard of Oz, of the fatherly god aspect comes through the window here, and not Uncle Henry, because Uncle Henry is the false father. That's why she sees Auntie M first. It's basically the aspect of, well, if you want to say like Horus, then Isis, then Osiris, and then the everything above encapsulation of everything would be, quote unquote, the Keter god, whatever, which is the transcendent aspect of everything, source.
Well, she seems all right now.
Yeah, she got quite a bump on the head. We kind of thought that for a minute she was going to leave us.
Yeah, she got a bump on the head, so we thought for a moment she might leave us. Okay.
But I did leave you, Uncle Henry. That's just...
Okay. Well,
Get my face, could you?
yeah, she remembers all of them. She cleared her neuroses.
nice.
Goes to heaven.
Most of it was beautiful.
Oh, right here. This is actually very important.
Most of it was nice, but most of it was beautiful. I remember that some of it wasn't very nice.
Yeah.
But most of it was beautiful.
Okay, yeah, she remembers that some of it wasn't very nice. Most of it was beautiful. Yeah, dude, it's just like Earthplane, right? Earthplane, in general, it's like quite nice, but the real problem is the minor aspect really overshadows the good aspect. But this is the nature of the Yugas, because we're in the quote-unquote Iron Age to Silicon Age or whatever, after the World Wars, which is why you see this chaos, this nightmare outside, which is caused by the satanic desire aspect of the Ahrimanic forces or whatever, and it's going to be eventually balanced out by the other side of the pillar, but you need to go through the middle pillar of balancing both. I mean, this place, Mickey Mouse Clown Realm, the realm of the Malkuth, whatever you want to call this place, I don't care what you call it, the realm of Shaka immunity from the Eastern point of view. This place, it's very balanced, good and evil, light and darkness, the trestle board of the checkerboard floor, duality, yin and yang.
But just the same, all I kept saying to everybody was, I want to go home.
Yeah, dude.
And they sent me home.
I want to go home. Yeah, dude. They sent me home. Yeah, you can just ask to go home, as long as you did the work beforehand. Because remember, the Book of Revelations, it says, to get into the kingdom of heaven, you will be judged by your works. That is very important, right? But, you need to have the grace or the humility, like Dorothy the Meek, to ask for a helping hand once you've done the work.
Doesn't anybody believe me?
Doesn't anybody believe me? Okay, we'll just get this
And
end.
I'm not going to leave here ever again.
Yeah.
Because I love you all. And, oh, Auntie Em.
Yeah, love and harmony is the balance of the pillars to rise back up, by the way. That's why people always say, God is an all-loving God. Yes, sort of. but it is expressed through the expression of, you know, the Hakma and the Bina, through expression of everything. So that's why the clouds are all nice and, you know, go back to heaven, the end. Okay, so that concludes The Wizard of Oz. So hope you guys like this movie breakdown. Maybe I can do more movie breakdowns, like maybe The Never-Ending Story. Alright, you guys have a good night. So I hope everybody enjoys Thanksgiving, and if you could say happy birthday to me, because you have to remember, I had to work on my birthday. Then as soon as I got back from work, I basically spent 6 hours shooting this video. Like, it's I never get to celebrate a birthday. Alright, guys, good night. Peace.